They'll lynch you, but he did, and he lasted. I think he lasted about a week and a half.
Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on what part of the world you're watching from. Welcome back to the West Ham Network. I'm Anton and I'm back. I've been missing for a little while. I've not been that well, actually. It's not very often I do get unwell, but touch wood, long may that continue. But I managed to pick up a bug from the family, so it's not been that great. So thank you very much to Russ being carrying the mantelpiece for us. But lots has been going on, and of course, Russ has been keeping you up to date. If you are new around here, please do make sure you go and hit that subscribe button. We are on the march towards 20,000 subscribers. We've got a way to go, but we're getting there. So hit that subscribe button. It really does help us out as well. Who's been watching the World Cup? You enjoying it? I mean, what a performance from England last night. It really was. A game of two halves, you could have said. First half, a dominant, professional, tactical performance from West Ham, from England. But we came out all guns blazing in the second half. And probably the way that you would have thought Wales should have came out really and came at England. But they had no chance, man. I was watching the game with my dad and he was saying, I don't understand why Wales aren't going for it. And I said, well, Wales can't get the ball. England have kept the possession. They've done really well in their positional play and their tactics. And their tactics were completely right. And they dealt with the job at the end of the day. Got through, play Senegal in the round of 16 on Sunday evening. So what do you think? Put your comments in the comments section as well, but there are lots of stories to get through today, so let me get straight into the first one. And are you ready for this one? West Ham, listen, we've got Gianluca Scamacca, but today several reports from Italy, especially from an Italian reporter, Ciro Venerato, is saying that Napoli are monitoring Gianluca Scamacca of West Ham. Now, they said that he could be on the club's radar should a bid for their main striker arrive. Now, let's put everything into practicalities here. I don't doubt that there are clubs interested in Scamacca. I don't doubt there's clubs interested in every single West Ham player. Now, there is no doubts in my mind that Scamacca is going to remain a West Ham player this winter all the way through to the summer and again for the next season. It's absolutely a no-brainer that the guy is staying at the club, because when he has played and played well, especially with the team members around him, he has given us a really good performance. And yeah, he's been lacking a few goals recently, but time will tell whether or not he'll come good. Now, I don't doubt, like I said, clubs in Italy will know what the Italian number 9 is capable of doing, but we've just got to hope that this little winter window for him has done him the world of good, and maybe tactics will change and Moyes will change it and allow Scamacca to feature a little bit more, maybe with a bit more support. I think that would be nice. Having a little bit more support in the team for him would really help. But he has got a long-term contract at West Ham, so he ain't going anywhere. I would not, under any circumstances, worry about Gianluca Scamacca leaving the club. However, on another note, another player that we are hearing is potentially heading out the door, that we thought we may have potentially convinced to stay, is the young lad Harrison Ashby. The 20-year-old came close to joining Newcastle on the transfer deadline day in the summer, but it looks like it's taken another twist. We managed to keep him at the club, but he is extremely unhappy at the prospects of not getting into the West Ham setup at all. And it looks like Newcastle are pushing forward to try and bring him in the winter window. Now, this is a blow to many West Ham fans, but this would, I don't know how else to, unless Moyes throws him into the team, then you are taking Kira and you are taking Sufal and you're taking Johnson out of the equation straight away. Now, I like the idea of sometimes giving youth players the chance, but I don't know. Like, I sometimes I'm starting to feel like unless you're Declan Rice standard, you're not going to break through to our first team. Declan Rice has set the bar so high of players that are going to have to jump up and make that jump. I believe in the academy. I do. I've been the biggest canvasser for the academy over the last couple of seasons, especially when you watch the channel. But it's the only way that I can see why he's not going to go, because he's not going to have a chance, and it looks like he wants to move to Newcastle as well. He is a bright prospect, and that doesn't mean that he's not going to work out and make a good career for himself and end up being to the class of Rice. That's why, of course, I want to see him in big as well. But it would be another young talent, West Ham, which would be extremely disappointing for us. So put your comments in and let us know your thoughts. But that's not the end, potentially, of players heading out the door in this big shake-up at West Ham, apparently, according to reports. And that is that apparently Connor Coventry has reportedly been told to find a new club in the January transfer window. That's according to several reports who claim that the 22-year-old has been told that he is surplus to requirements at the London Stadium. Now, I think we could have put that equation together ourselves. Now, he's not really played much this season, with just 345 minutes of action to his name in all competitions. But it claims that he's to look for a new club in January. And I think he is a decent player. I think there's a really decent player there. I think his chance of being in and around the squad has come too late in his career. I think if this had happened 2 or 3 years ago, this would be a whole different ballgame. But to be 22 years old and still 4th or 5th choice player in the midfield rankings, when especially your manager's looking at strengthening that area, especially when you've got a struggling Tommy Soucek in the team and you're still not getting a look in, it's always going to be tough for a player like that to come through the ranks. A lot of experience, obviously, at under 21 level for Republic of Ireland. I think if he does go, I'll be disappointed. Obviously disappear and went away to Anderlecht and done himself the world of good with his ability on the park, and has now found his way back at Burnley, and look where they are in the Championship. So disappointing if he goes, but I think that's a no-brainer that he is heading out the door, to be honest. But like I said, it is a disappointment. So leave your comments in the comment section and your thoughts on potentially Connor Coventry heading out the door. One more potential player leaving is a player that we haven't really spoken about a lot, and that's Pierre Ekwa. And that's according to X, actually. Ex-employee, if any of you don't know, said that we are expected to see Ekwa, who's 20 years old midfielder, head out on loan with lots of clubs interested in and around Europe. Now, I first came across Pierre Ekwa last season when we signed him. I went up, fortunately, to see him at St Andrews, and the biggest thing that caught my attention from this young lad was how much of a unit he is. Now, I am 6'4", and I'm adamant I was staring him in the eyes. I couldn't believe it. I was thinking to myself, how old is this geezer? So I met him when he was 19, probably 18, and now he's 20, and he's just an absolute beast of a player. I think he's got a lot of potential. I really, really do. Now, apparently, according to X, he's going to be going out on loan. And I think that's really good for someone like him to go and get much experience, because I think that West Ham see the capabilities of what he could bring to the team. I do think he could be extremely vital for West Ham in the future. So I think this move for West Ham, putting Ekwa out, is a good move for West Ham and for Ekwa to go and get the experience that he needs at a higher standard, and then gives Moyes and West Ham an opportunity to see, do we have this absolute diamond in the rough in the team? And I do think we do in this player here. I think he's really capable. The one thing I really remember watching was the fact that he played with a lot of the central midfielders at the time, and he was dominating. He was dominating in the middle of the park, especially when he played in the games. He stood out very well. So he obviously didn't make the step up into the first team. But he is still really young, so I think this potential loan move is a good move for him, and this will test whether or not he's got the resolve and the ability, strength, desire, fight to make it in the first team, especially in the Premier League. So good on you if you do go, Pierre. We'll obviously bring that news to you when it does happen, or if it does happen. as well. And there was one little bit of good news coming out of West Ham. There really was. And it was this man, Callum Marshall, signed his first professional contract with West Ham. He signed his professional terms with the club yesterday. He celebrated his 18th birthday on the 28th of November, and he's been really, really impressive throughout this season for the under-18s, earning him his opportunity in the development side this season. He scored an incredible 9 goals in just 4 outings in the under-18s at the start of the season, and he's since featured 8 times in all competitions for the under-21, scoring his first Premier League 2 goal away to Blackburn Rovers last month. And he has penned his professional contract after being at the West Ham for 12 months, and he joined on scholarship terms from the Northern Irish Football League Premiership side Linfield back in January. And he went on and he said about the signing that he's signing my first professional deal with West Ham feels really good. It's something that I've been working towards my whole life. My 2022 has been very enjoyable, and it's had its peaks and troughs. I've just been trying to replicate my form for the under-18s into the under-21s. It's been hard to step up. I'm on my way back up from an injury too, so for me, it's about getting as much game time as I can in the under-18s in the coming weeks and hopefully do well. Now, listen, something else I love to see was Kenny Brown, current acting interim academy manager, was present alongside new sporting or incoming sporting director. He's there, he's in the role, Mark Noble, with his parents who made the trip over from Northern Ireland to see the player sign. Kenny Brown went on and he said, we're delighted to agree professional terms with Callum. He's been a consistent figure in the under-18s, more recently in the 21s, joining the Academy of Football in January, and it's been a pleasure to see him improve each week. So, of course, that is a fantastic signing for us to have a young player like that, and fingers crossed that he can go on and make a fantastic career at West Ham, because what we're seeing is this shake-up happening again within the youth system. Connor Coventry potentially heading out the door. Not that we're delighted about Harrison Ashby heading out the door. Ikwa going out on loan. There'll be a further shake-up. A few other players are linked coming in. The young Scottish lad from Partick Thistle that we're looking at to bring into the youth system. It will be interesting. What I will say to you is, don't believe the hype on Scamacca. He's staying at the club. I don't believe nothing until you see it, but he is staying at the club. Don't worry about that. But I think we'll be looking at Connor Coventry, Harrison Ashby, Pierre Ikwa heading out the club, 2 on a permanent, 1 on loan, and of course we signed Callum Marshall, which was a fantastic deal for us. Now, listen, if you are new around here, please hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. Please leave a comment, give us your honest feedback. That really does and is appreciated. We will be back for Hammers Headlines later on. Take it easy, and of course, come on, you beautiful Irons.
Good night.